Good evening, everyone. My name is Danielle Walker, and I want to welcome you all to the Terp Family Fundamentals webinar series. Again, my name is Danielle Walker, and I'm the program coordinator in the Office of Parent and Family Affairs. For those that are new, this webinar series is intended to help you become informed consultants on campus resources so that you can better support your Terps. Tonight, we're joined by staff in the Department of Resident Life. They'll be addressing spring move-in, which begins tomorrow. They'll also share what residents can expect living on campus and how DRL staff can support them throughout the semester. We received well over 200 questions through your registrations, and we hope to be able to answer most of those through this presentation. If you find that you still have questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to submit those via the Q&A feature. To access the Q&A feature, find the two conversation bubbles at the bottom of your screen. It should also say Q&A underneath. If you don't see that, you may need to click on the three dots towards the end of your toolbar that say More. Also within the Q&A feature, if you see a question that you would also like the answer to, so maybe someone has already posed this question and you really want the answer to that question as well, click on the thumbs up icon. This is what we call an upvote, and we'll be prioritizing the questions that we answer live during the session based on which questions have the most upvotes. Be sure also to look at the Answered tab at the top of the Q&A feature for any answers to questions that have already been posed. We'll do our best to respond to as many questions as we can before the end of the webinar. And lastly, I want to remind you all that this webinar is being recorded and it will be available on our Terp Family YouTube channel tomorrow. So with that, I will hand off the presentation and welcome again, everyone.
Thank you, Danielle. Welcome to the Terp Family Welcome webinar. Our DRL family is here to welcome you. We are excited to spend this next hour with you sharing about the awesome things we have planned for the spring 2021 semester. Our hosts today are Genevieve Conway, Assistant Director for Communities, Kelly Perkins, Assistant Director for Communities, and I am Candace Daniels, Coordinator of Administrative Operations. We also have additional Res Life staff on hand to help answer questions when we come to that portion. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Our agenda this evening, like Danielle mentioned, is we're going to discuss some of our student engagement opportunities, our COVID and residence hall services, and ongoing support we plan to offer your students or residents this semester. We'll finish up this presentation with some question and answers. And with that, again, we welcome you. Who's excited for spring? We are super excited to get this semester started. We want to welcome our first-time residents that are joining us tonight and to all of our residents that will be returning to the halls that lived with us last year. We have been working so hard to plan and prepare for a great spring 21, and we hope to highlight a few of our plans with you this evening. To get the ball rolling, I want to kick it over to our director, Veronica for her greeting.
Good evening, everyone, and Happy New Year. I know that it is January 20th, and soon we will not be able to say Happy New Year, but we are so excited that you are joining us tonight. I just wanted to say hello and welcome to our new Terps, and welcome back to some of our returning Terps. I just have a few notes for you all just to say welcome back, but about keeping your students and your family safe. So we are very excited to welcome around 600 new students to our residence halls this upcoming spring. And we are still below 50% of our occupancy, and we're still in singles only right now. So when we think about keeping your students safe and your family safe, just know that it is the priority of our department. It's also the priority of our department to keep our staff safe as well, and to make sure that the health, safety, and well-being is at the forefront of everything that we do here in the Department of Resident Life. The other thing I want to talk about is vaccines. So a lot of you wrote in with questions about the vaccine, when the university will have the vaccine, when we might start rolling it out to our students. The reality is that our university does not quite yet have the vaccine. But there is a committee that is working on campus with our director of the Health Center, Dr. Spiro Menadopoulos, and our former interim director, Dr. Sigrid Bodison, are leading a committee so that when it is ready, we have an efficient process to roll out the vaccine for all of our community. And when we think about safety and our well-being of our students, our team later today is going to talk about all of the programs that are going to be available for our students, some virtual, some in person, but we are in the Prince George's County, and we are really trying to make sure that we follow health guidelines and safety guidelines of our county officials. So the first 2 weeks back, we're going to be doing virtual programs, welcomes, and later you're going to hear that dining is also going to be grab and go for now. But we're going to slowly start opening up starting the 3rd and 4th week based on the metrics that we're hearing from our health center director, and also that we're hearing from the PG County health officials. We are excited to welcome you to campus. We're excited to welcome some of you back. And I'm going to turn it back over to my team to jump into some of the fun things that we're doing this semester. And welcome again.
Thank you, Val. So tomorrow kicks off spring move-in, and we have some quick reminders of what you should expect when you arrive to campus. Starting with our new to housing residents, we hope by now you all have uploaded your negative COVID test results on return.umd.edu. If not, please make sure you do that as soon as possible. We will not be able to check you in without that information updated in our system. Additionally, you should have signed up for a move-in appointment. And then check-in. Check-in for new students will be centralized in 251 North, which is one of our all-you-care-to-eat residence halls located on the north side of campus. Residents only should enter 251 North to retrieve their university ID. They'll complete their biometric scan of their hand for dining, and they'll pick up their residence hall keys before traveling to their residence halls. Once you arrive at the hall, please follow all unloading directions before moving vehicles to long-term parking. Remember to print your parking pass, bring it with you, please. This is very important. And with that, I'll turn it over to Genevieve to discuss returning students.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Genevieve Conway. I work here in Resident Life, and I'm excited to talk to you this evening. So the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is move in for our returning students. Just like our new to housing students, our returning students need to have attested to a negative COVID test result on return.umd.edu. The students will not gain access to our halls if they do not have that test on file. So please make sure that they are working to do that. We are hoping to also maintain our 4 Maryland guidelines. And in order to do the 6 feet of physical distancing, we're asking all of our returning students to be dropped off curbside. So you would say, help unload your student to unload their items, say your goodbyes, and then they would continue back into the halls. We know that this can be hard for some families to say goodbye, so we wanted to make sure that you were aware of this so that you could do those goodbyes maybe before getting in the car, have a nice breakfast, and then be able to drop your students and go. Really, this is for limiting the number of people in the residence halls. We want to make sure that their health and safety of residents and staff is one of the foremost things that we're doing. So we thank you in advance for your assistance in helping to keep us and everyone safe. I'm going to pass it on to Kelly to talk a little bit about the staff that'll be here to welcome you.
Greetings. So we have a number of Resident Life staff members who are here to support and assist residents. In North Campus residence halls, there's an RA, a resident assistant, on every floor to provide support and assistance for residents. And in the South Campus halls, RAs are in every building to support and assist. And so they are there, they are present and available. We also have community assistants, better known as CAs, who staff our 24-hour community desks that are always available to students. Additionally, we also have full-time staff such as resident directors, community directors, and coordinators, all committed to supporting the success of our residents. And then Genevieve is going to talk to you some more about some of the student connections that these folks will bring for your student.
So Kelly and I have the great honor to get to work a lot with our community staff. And so we're excited because we have built in some times for them to connect with your students in the first couple of weeks and beyond. And so one of the ways that we're trying to do that is that we're going to work in partnerships with both our new and returning students to continue our community building. So we have several events planned. I'm going to talk a little bit about our sort of individual outreach. So all of our new to housing students will be invited to a meet and greet. We'll have one tomorrow evening or Friday evening, depending upon when they move in, so they can attend either one. And it's a time for them to talk with their RA, their community staff, and other students who are also new to housing in their area. And so they will make those connections. And then during the first week of classes, we'll see them to have a first floor or unit meeting, depending on the facility that they live in, with their RA to talk about the semester expectations and community living. All of these first interactions, because of the need for safety, will be in a virtual environment. So they should definitely be on the lookout for emails and other outreach that might come to them. And so that's a great way that they can be a partner in helping to connect. So once the first floor meetings are done, our RAs will reach out to each individual resident that they have to set up a time to have some one-on-one interaction. And that usually will be virtual, again, in this sort of first part of the semester, as we're really keeping safety as one of our utmost importance. And so they can expect outreach from their RA to have that one-on-one interaction so that the RA can get to know their residents and help them better connect with other students and to campus at large. And then we had started the study buddy program in the fall, and we'll continue that. And it's where students can opt in to find other residents in their classes to form study groups throughout. And since that can be done virtually, they can be finding these study buddy folks all over campus. So that's sort of the more smaller connections, sort of one-on-ones or at your individual floor or unit levels. Our next slide talks a little bit about our larger scale programming that will happen over the welcome weekend. So we'll have these larger programs that your student can engage in via Zoom. This website is really important because all of the Zoom links are actually located here. There will be plenty of flyers and programming sort of around when they move in, so they can see the move-in website. But if you want to make sure that they have that, so they can access these different events. So a game night, building terrariums, we'll have those supplies available in the dining halls for them to pick up. And then virtual character artists, which are always very popular. So there's just the larger groups, programs to have people make connections in a larger setting. I'm gonna hand it over to Kelly now.
And so new this spring semester, we have a weekly Wednesday night of fun programming series that'll be open to all Residence Hall students. For the first 4 weeks of the semester, those events you see here on this slide, we have fun and educational programming planned. The Wednesday night fun series will continue weekly for the entire spring semester. And so as the semester unfolds, we'll hope that some of the program series events may be held outside and offer in-person, safe, social distance opportunities for residents to come together to build connections with each other and foster belonging. Your residents should definitely look for flyers in the hall for various links or locations for these programs. And so just again, the first month here, grocery bingo, the chance to win various items that they might need to be successful in the residence hall, including some groceries. Grow your own sprouts, which will be a sustainability focused program, coloring and Valentine's Day crafts to foster self-care, and trivia night. And so Genevieve is going to talk about some other events that'll be coming up throughout this term.
So one of the things that we're excited is that we have these traditional events on campus that have been reimagined in a sort of revamped in virtual and in-person elements. So we always have a second look fair. And so it's basically a time for any student who's new to campus, or even any student who was with us in the fall, or is just looking to connect in a different way at the larger campus level, can come in and find connections and their place on campus. So the second look fair helps them make connections to clubs and organizations that they may want to join. And then our Stamp All Nighter used to be a one night or one evening program, but they've reimagined it into a multi Friday in February program with both virtual and in-person events each week. And so that will sort of be all of February that's happening with our partners at the Stamp, which is the student union. And so we're really excited about the opportunities that those present for our residents to connect to the larger university campus. And so now I'm going to hand it over to Candace so she can talk a little bit about some of the services you can find in our halls.
Now we come to my favorite thing to talk about, and that is our service desk operations, which are located in our facilities across campus. So to start out, our desk staff are comprised of undergraduate students we call community assistants or CAs, as Kelly mentioned, and they handle the day-to-day operations of the service desk. They report to undergraduate supervisors who then report to all these other levels of professional staff, and then all of our staff combined creates the administrative operations side of the larger community. And I highlight that just because this is a very easy and accessible place for residents to start making connections. Come to the desk. Do you have a question? We can probably answer that question for you or point you in the direction to get you assistance. The next thing is where our desks are located. So this year we have 5 service desk locations, and I'm going to try and do this. And please, if you miss one, you can find this information on our website. But just to give you kind of a heads up of where these service desks are located in relation to the services they provide to residents. We're going to start with Annapolis Hall Service Desk, which provides services for Allegheny, Baltimore, Calvert, Charles, Frederick, Garrett, Hartford, Howard, Kent, Montgomery, Prince George's, Talbot, Washington Hall residents. So all of those residents need assistance, have questions, would go to Annapolis Hall to seek service. Queen Anne's Hall provides service for Anne Arundel, Dorchester, Prince Frederick, Queen Anne's, Somerset, St. Mary's, and Worcester Halls. Then we have Cumberland Hall Service Desk, which provides service for Bel Air Hall residents, Cambridge Hall residents, Cumberland, Chestertown, and Centerville Hall residents. The La Plata Service Desk provides assistance to Ellicott Hall residents, Hagerstown residents, and La Plata Hall residents. And finally, Oakland Hall Service Desk provides services for Denton, Easton, Elkton, and Oakland Hall residents. Now, I've said services, and you might be wondering, okay, well, what services? I know we can ask questions and it's undergraduate students there, but what services do you actually provide? Great question. So our desk services, we provide day and night operations, meaning we're open 24 hours, as Kelly mentioned. We provide emergency assistance by way of getting residents in contact with on-call staff. So be it the resident assistant RA on duty or a resident director on duty, the service desk staff can help point residents in the right direction. We provide support and resources, as in, don't know how to use the on-campus bus system? Ask the service desk. Wondering about the best place to eat off campus? Ask the service desk staff. I will preface that by saying recommendations may vary, but seriously, they are there to help you answer general questions about college life. Last but not least, the service desk is also where residents can retrieve spare keys or temporary swipes should they find themselves locked out and or pick up their packages. One note about packages before I turn it over to Genevieve, if you all or your residents are anything like I am, 5 minutes after I place an order, I'm refreshing the page for shipping information. And it better not be a package that is delivered by someone that lets you see the delivery driver, because I am watching that little car like a hawk. I have notifications to alert me as soon as my package is delivered. That gets a little hairy when I have a package delivered to the university, and that's just because we have to receive those packages at our service desk, and then we have to log all of those packages for residents. So I put that out there just to say, residents, if you're listening, families, if you can reinforce this message that if Amazon tells you your package has been delivered, please wait until you receive an email notification from our service desk letting you know that the package has actually made its way to our desk and that it's ready to be picked up. So we want to get you your package as soon as possible, but I just wanted to throw that little caveat out there because I know packages are hot and heavy. Everybody's ordering everything. And so that's the quickest way that I know some people find frustration. So I figure if I put it out there now, you can be cognizant of it and just wait for that little package notification to arrive in your inbox and all will be well. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Genevieve. Genevieve, just want to check, are you
I was
muted?
talking, I had not unmuted myself. I apologize. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about COVID compliance reminders. So we, as a Maryland community, have committed to following the 4 Maryland guidelines. So we are working to keep ourselves and each other safe. And to do that, we wear face coverings at all times, both in common areas and outside when walking around campus. That is both a university expectation and currently a county expectation. We wash hands frequently. We look to stay 6 feet apart. We have provided some markers in different areas where you might find higher traffic, for instance, waiting for an elevator or in the elevator itself. We are all expecting to wash our hands frequently. And if we're feeling sick, we're staying home and taking care of ourselves. So we want to make sure that all the students and families understand that students need to sign and complete the training and the pledge. They're expected to do ongoing testing. So they'll be expected, like we said before, to attest to a negative test at return.umd.edu before they even are able to enter our halls this spring semester. And then they're expected to have a post-arrival test and they can get all of that. They can, of course, do all of their appointment setting at the University Health Center or on return.umd.edu. It's a really one-stop shop. And then of course, we're expecting every student to complete every day some daily symptom monitoring. So they are ensuring they're taking and stopping and reflecting about sort of their own health and what they're feeling. And if they need to be sort of the stay home when sick area or keeping to gain other medical attention. So return.umd.edu again is our one-stop shop that I can't stress enough, has great resources and is the place that our students need to be really familiar with to make sure that we're all keeping each other safe. So next, Kelly's going to talk a little bit about what our first couple of weeks looks like.
So in light of the continuing pandemic, as the semester begins, we will utilize several of the same strategies that we did in the fall term to keep our community safe. All classes will begin in a virtual format. Dining will be grab and go, and residents will not be permitted to have guests in their rooms. As the semester progresses, the campus will be in touch with students with updates, including when classes will begin in person for those that have that component, when students will be able to sit in the dining hall, and any changes or updates to the guest policy. And I think we have actually reached the end of our webinar, Candace.
Thank you, Kelly. And thank you to everyone who's joined us tonight. Who's excited for the spring semester? I know I'm super excited for. But I just wanted to let you know we are here to help your students make a smooth transition back to campus, and we're looking forward to working together with on-campus Terps just to help create a meaningful, impactful, safe, and healthy semester. That being said, we know you all have some questions about housing for next semester. Our best answer is be on the lookout for this information. It is coming soon. So refresh your inbox. It is on its way. And with that, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to questions, and because our formal agenda is over. So thank you again for joining us.
Thank you, Candace. So you'll see here on the slide that is up, this is the contact information for the Department of Resident Life. So their phone number and email, as well as my office, the Office of Parent and Family Affairs. So if the questions that you have asked have not gotten answers, please feel free to reach out to either one of us. But I do want to get to some questions that we have received that I think either received the most upvotes or would be helpful for the entire group to hear. So first, could you just confirm if family members are able to help students move in? And how many members are able to assist the student in moving in?
So I can take that. This is Candace. We are asking again that we limit the number of individuals in our residence halls helping students move in. And that's again, purely from a physical distancing perspective. We just need to make sure we maintain this distance. So we are asking that at the absolute most, there's only 2 people that come with the resident to help them unload their belongings, get them up to the room, get the room set up, and then say our goodbyes and we will see you soon. But at the most, absolutely 2, that's critical. And again, that's literally because when you pull up to the residence hall, you help unload the belongings, probably in the unloading zone. And then as one person takes the car to long-term parking, another person can stay with the belongings as the resident is going up and starting to move stuff in until the third person comes back and everybody can start moving belongings in. So that's kind of our 3-person model, 2 additional people along with the resident. So.
Great, thank you. And then also, how can students obtain the parking permit that's needed for move-in?
Take this one. Good evening, everyone. Students should log into their housing portal at starres.umd.edu. They will see a button that says Arrival Passport. When they click on that, it will indicate all of the information they need, their move-in appointment time, directions to their residence hall, and their parking permit. And we ask that you do print that and place it on the dashboard of your vehicle.
Thank you. So for students who may not be moving in on campus this weekend, are they still able to participate in the meet and greets and the virtual events that are going on?
That's Genevieve. This is Genevieve. Yes, absolutely. That is one of the benefits of having virtual events. We don't have to have you on campus and you can still participate. So even if there's a delay in your move-in, there doesn't have to be a delay in your ability to start to connect with others. And so that's why the email is so important to be checking for our students. That's our main mode of communication at this point. And so having your student making sure they're checking their university email account will be really helpful in helping them to find those times that we're working to connect with them. And they don't need to be on campus or be checked in order to participate.
Thank you. During the first 2 weeks, will residents be able to enter the lounges or the lobby areas in their residence halls? And I guess utilize those spaces to be able to get out of their room and whatnot.
So yeah, so right now, our lobbies and our lounges and any other sort of communal space have posters that have our maximum occupancy. And so those are the expectations. We ask that students would work to be 6 feet apart if they're in that lounge together. Everyone is wearing their mask in the lobbies or the lounges, and they don't exceed those maximum occupancy numbers. And so that's really, but they are able to be in those spaces, and those are the expectations that we have of our students in those spaces.
Thank you. I had a question and then it disappeared. So let me see if I can find it again. Oh no, I have no idea where it went. One of the questions that I know we do get often refers to or is in regards to what appliances students are able to bring into their rooms. Can one of you speak to that? What kind of appliances they are allowed to have or what they're not allowed to have?
Happy to take that as well. So we do have students who bring personal fridges, and those are allowed. We, for the most part, do not allow microwaves in individual rooms. And so there are some halls that can support that. And so going on our website, reslife.umd.edu, and looking under our residence hall section can really help you understand what are the amenities that are in your hall. So we do have a sort of good rule that if it glows, it goes. So for from an appliance standpoint, if there's an open heating element, a toaster oven, a Bunsen burner, those are not allowed in the individual students' rooms to be used. But things where the heating element is enclosed, Keurig is a great example. Those are allowed to be used in individual student rooms. And so that's a good overall approach to, can I have this appliance in my room, from the sort of, usually we see it from a cooking element or some sort of food preparation perspective. And so really that's a good approach and philosophy to have.
Thank you. Can you speak to how students are able to use the washers and dryers? Do they need to have cash on them? Can they use their student ID? And if they can use their student ID, how do they go about loading money onto that?
So we do have both options. You can send your student with the roll of quarters, understanding we might still be in a bit of a change shortage. We do have the Terrapin Express option in all of our laundry rooms. So in order to load your student's card with Terrapin Express, which is a debit card that the university system supports, you would visit our dining.umd.edu site and be able to access their account and upload money to the Terrapin Express. And so they can pay, that's how they can electronically pay for their washers and dryers, is through the Terrapin Express program. And of course, that program is able to be used all over campus. So they can use it at the bookstore or at the Stamp if they want to get, ice cream or, a bit of a different meal. So that is something that would be the electronic payment for our washers and dryers. But they can also use coins if they would prefer.
Okay, thank you. And the next question is in regards to, I guess some of the halls may have a common kitchen area. Can you speak to, I guess, how those are able to be utilized?
We do have common kitchen areas. Those are able to be utilized. Those two would have a maximum occupancy. And so there should be no more than the maximum occupancy in those spaces using that kitchen at any one time. In those building kitchens, you'll usually find a stove, an oven, a microwave. I should have also sort of clarified too when I said not all the halls are allowed microwaves in our individual rooms. We do have centrally located microwaves in those halls that all the students can use. So either in the lounge or somewhere in a small kitchenette in the hallway, there is this multiple microwaves that students can use throughout the buildings if they're not supported in their individual rooms. And so the building kitchens have those appliances accessible. We don't have things like pots and pans sort of available. So if that might be something to just sort of check out when the student gets here, they can go and check it out and see how they want to use it. But there are the maximum occupancy signs when it comes to how many people can be in those spaces for our COVID protection reasons.
Thank you. Another question is, how long are parents and family members allowed to help students with move-in? Is there a time frame that they are allowed to be helping the students?
So I can take that. I would say that we want parents and families to be responsible in understanding that we have appointments scheduled throughout the day. So once you get your resident moved in and kind of do some of the general setup things, we would hope that you would be considerate of other families that are coming into the residence halls and want to help their student get set up. So at max, we're asking that families say their goodbyes within a 3-hour time period. And again, that's simply just recognizing that we have a bunch of people moving in that are trying to do the exact same thing. So 3 hours max.
Thank you. Another question is in regards to being able to hang picture frames and whatnot. Is there anything on the website, or could you suggest things that students can use to be able to hang items up on their walls to decorate their space?
On behalf of our facility folks, we really appreciate this question. One of the big things, we are a big love, we really enjoy blue tape. Blue tape is a great option for hanging things on the wall. And someone I think asked about sort of hanging hooks, or we would say blue tape is really the way that we would love for everyone to go, because it does provide, the ability for our students to decorate their space and make it feel like home, but it also then does not damage the facility. So when that they are packing up and moving out, that it is left in good shape. So I would say, if you're thinking, how can we decorate and what's the best way for affixing things to the wall, blue tape all the way.
Thank you. And as we wrap up, are there any, comments, questions, reminders that any of you panelists would like to share with folks before we wrap up? Or possibly questions that you saw that I didn't get to?
Danielle, this is Veronica. There are a lot of questions about fall 2021. Please be patient with us as we work with our health and county officials to follow guidelines as we move into, it's January and we're still trying to figure out how we're going to open safely for spring. But once we get more information about how we can open in the fall semester, we will be sure to share that with our parent and families, as well as with our students, so that no one is left out for the fall semester.
Great, thank you so much. I do want to thank you all for taking the time to join us this evening. We recognize that there were other ways that you could be spending your time this evening, and so we appreciate you being here with us. As I bring this webinar to a close, I do want to remind everyone that a recording of this webinar will be available on the Terp Family YouTube channel tomorrow morning. So again, you can visit YouTube and then search Terp Family and you'll find our page. And so a recording will be there. Also, contact information for the Department of Resident Life is here on the slide. So if you had a question for them and we weren't able to get to it, please feel free to email them. You can also email my office, so terpfamily@umd.edu, or give us a call and we'd be happy to assist you. Please be on the lookout for an email from me tomorrow. And so I will be, again, linking the webinar recording in that email, as well as asking you to provide some feedback on how the webinar went tonight, as well as any topics you may be interested in for future webinars. We welcome your thoughts on that. So I do want to thank you all again for joining us this evening, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Thank you.